Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference Board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettymodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here at Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Feeling a little ready to rock and roll this morning. Back home in my chair. How are you doing? All right, we got little topics to talk about. Little topics to talk about. Nothing to get worked up about yet. Yeah, they always say yet because you can never say never in the weather world, as we know. But 5 mil, yeah, Amy. Yep, that was that's about all the platforms. All right, cool. There we go. Let's turn everything off. Looks good. Hope you're doing good here this Monday morning. Had a lot of rain again. Flooding rains has been the story this last couple weeks, obviously. We've had unbelievable rainfall and flooding. Jody Eve, that was Barrel last year. That was some of my footage from last year. We were dealing with Hurricane Barrel in Texas last year. Believe it or not, we're ahead of schedule this year. Normal third system is until August 3rd. Just everybody gets all worked up on the names and they're like, it's been a slow season, but really Chantel was pretty impactful. Is that a word? And even remnants of Barry was traced all the way up to middle Texas there with that flooding around July 4th weekend. So doesn't take a hurricane to cause havoc. This is my buddy Louie. I got a lot of people mad because I was showing Longo so much. So we're going to equally give Louie his love. But when we got Hunter, I think I showed Hunter a lot. I think I bit my tongue last night. Hurts. So we're going to talk about the tropics here in a second. We got a little yellow circle, 30%. But we'll say hello for a few minutes first. Morning, Sherry from Orange, Texas. Steve's on anchor in Abaco. Holy cow. Treasure K, is that the Bahamas? I believe. Steve, good to see you, man, on a boat. You got Starlink? Miss Marcia, good morning. Morning, Phyllis. We got our Brew Crew streaming live over there. All of our diehard supporters at mwpchat.com. Alyssa, good morning. Morning, Marianne. Dolson, Louisiana. Fort Walton Beach, Catherine. Home of Justin Danger. Jesse Rice, good morning. Melinda, he wants to sleep. He'll give us a big yawn in a second. Richard Reimer, what's happening on the other coast? We were over your way this week, Richard. Kind of that way. Karen, good morning. Yep. And we did pretty good. Thank you, Karen. She had some good moments. She had a walk-off single to win the last game. Fort Pierce, Christina. Yeah, he's snoring a little bit, Nessa. Not a lot. Amanda Taylor. What's cooking? Rotunda. JJ, that's where we wrote out Ian. Oh my God, I got to know your all's area very well down there, Rotunda. What a wild looking area that is. Oh, here comes a big yawn. I can see it coming. Rotunda looks so odd from the sky. Where's my satellite? I got a satellite up here I wanted to show you. Where the heck is it? Oh man, I got all these cool little things up here, but I don't know where the hell this satellite went. Where's the satellite? There we go. There's satellite. Let's do it right here. Okay. Oh man, what's up, Brenda? All right, so we're gonna be talking about this mess over there over the Gulfstream right now. Gulf County Sheriff's Office. Hey, Port St. Joe, what's up? I love Port St. Joe. Darn it. My buddy Tyler up there in Cape San. I never know how to say it. Blast? Cape San. Is it Cape San Blas? Blast? I've been up there a bunch lately, hanging out, waiting for storms. Gonna have a little rain your way. There's a little thunder out. This is current satellite looking at the lightning. You had a little storm up there around Port St. Joe this morning, didn't you? You did, right before sunrise. We had a few little showers popping here in Sarasota, down there by the Naples, Fort Myers, down there. You know, there's little popping storms everywhere this morning. We're going to be talking about that blob over the Gulfstream here in a little bit. Nothing to worry about. No stress yet. I'm not going to hype it up. I actually smiled yesterday. Somebody called somebody else a fearmonger. Lots of booming down in Gulf County Sheriff's Office. Yeah, looks like it. Something about a morning rain, right? Looking over the Gulf there. So peaceful. Like sand blast. Is that how you say it? Lots of thunder, Miranda. I believe it. I see it. I tell you what, this weather forecast is very tricky today. I'm going to go into that. I'm not really 100% sold what's going to happen. There's a lot of PWAT, a lot of juice in the atmosphere. Oh, buddy. What do you think about your brother Longo? No jealousy yet, Bill. I was really happy today they were sleeping together. I don't think he's jealous. I think he's actually likes his little brother. You know, they've only known each other a week now. We've only had Longo a week. You like Longo? Little brother Longo? Where's Longo at? Where's Longo? Oh, the original OG. I love him. All right, say goodbye, Louie. We're going to talk weather. People, like, get on with it. Hey, Louie, say goodbye-bye. One thing I didn't realize with Louie, man, after we have Longo's, the first dark-haired dog we've had in a long time. We had a border collie that was black, as black can be. He was like shiny coat, Cody. He was the border collie. Then we got Rusty, the lab. He was yellow. And then we got Louie and Hunter. Now we're back to, we got both. So we just gotta wear clothes depending on what dog we're gonna hold that day. What's up, Keem Davis? How's it going? Mary Carol, what's up? All right, so there you go. We're looking at live satellite. So what do we got? You love looking at videos, Jesse? I appreciate that. It's a Red Bull morning, by the way. A lot of driving this week. I thought I was going to go storm chasing today, but I wouldn't even know where to go. I got a big thing with Miami-Dade tonight. I might share it. I don't know what it is. It's some big Miami-Dade seminar thing, Miami-Dade EOC or something. So I'll share that here in a little bit. I got a weather joke book. I think I'm going to start out every show with a weather joke. We're going to do a random joke every day. Ready? First one. Here we go. Ready? What do you get if you cross a ferocious lion with a snowman? Frostbite. I don't know, man. Here's a hurricane one. What are hurricanes with a central... This is too much words. What are hurricanes with a central dense overcast over the eye called? Hurricanes with cataracts. I'm sure AI might be better weather jokes. Alexa, tell me a weather joke. Alexa, good morning. My Alexa's fighting with me. She's ignoring me. It's like we're married. Did anybody else get a weather joke? Because my Alexa's mad at me, apparently. She's ignoring me. All right, let's talk about it. All right, so we'll say hello to a little bit. All right, so we got a big old blob out there at 30% now. Figured out it was going to happen. Let me show you some stuff. This is what we got. A lot of wind shear. You can see a lot of that moisture is blowing towards Florida, but definitely bubbly. There's some circulation out there right now. This thing definitely looks like it's going to the Gulf. We've got a high pressure to the north that's going to steer this thing westward. But there you go. So let's talk about it. Let me close it out. Show you right there. All right. All right. Screens. Lisa Clark. No, there's a lot of alternatives. That's Storm Smart. Very impressive products. Alternatives to plywood. A lot of our fans told me they have their roll down screens and alternatives to plywood, and they love them to death. So the Feather Channel. I like it, Paige. You got a joke, Kendall? There you go. Sorry about that, everybody. Whoa, what was that? All right, so we're going to get into Daily Brew here. Appreciate you coming and watching. We've been streaming live since 2016, talking weather and more. Brought to you by great friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. They're working on our new commercial, the MWP Pina Colada. I can't wait to show it. Made a little Jim Beam. So that'll be fun to share when that comes out. But there you go, 30%. Let me read it to you. I like to post these graphics so you can kind of read what the National Hurricane Center is thinking. I don't know why the radars are down, by the way. That's really odd. I think Jacksonville and Melbourne are both down, right? Let me take a look here. I was a little surprised to see that too, honestly. Both of them. I think Jacksonville is under maintenance right now, but yeah, Melbourne's down too. Look at that. 2 radars are down. So they usually up the signal on the... it's weird, though. Melbourne and Jacksonville are down. Not very often. 2 out of the 4 radars are down. But they usually, what they do is... Oh, Austin just texted me, too. Oh, are you listening, Austin? They got struck by lightning. There you go. We just heard it. Lightning. Lightning's been intense, honestly. Lightning, last couple days. Not for long, though. But anyway, let me read it to you, what we got going on. Nope, lightning apparently early. But anyway. All right, so 30% chance. We got a low pressure out there. So when you see an X, that means they actually have a spot that they consider the low pressure. So mid-level low pressure areas take longer to develop into tropical systems. So lower level low pressure areas have an easier time to spin up So we have a low pressure center with that yellow X and sitting over the Gulf Stream. They don't talk about that, but it's going to slide over Florida. We got a high pressure to the north. Some gradual development is possible. So this is crazy. I looked at the latest ensembles, and the GFS and Euro are showing Zippo. I kind of hope we get Zippo because then our models are right. But if they're wrong, I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Another year of finding a good model. The Icon and Canadian have been the most consistent models in the last few years as far as low pressure development, it seems like. Euro AI is doing really good right now too. But anyway, there's what we got. 30% chance it could develop in that yellow area. It's all over the internet right now. But again, there's nothing to stress about. There's no official forecast of this thing becoming anything more than a rainmaker. But there are some models that say a little more, so we're going to get into that. But there you go. Big old low. Here's what it looks like. Look at this. So this was a little surprise to me today. Not a huge surprise, but that's kind of what we got. Look at that. We actually have spinach. That's low pressure. Counterclockwise. So we didn't have that yesterday. So we actually have a low pressure spin out there. That's pretty cool, right? We got high pressure over the Gulf right now. A lot of wind shear on the upper levels, but there you go. We have spin. Nidge. General Track's going to take this thing across Florida and into the upper Gulf later in the week. So we're going to keep an eye on it. High pressure to the north. The wind flows are eventually going to steer it this direction, and eventually it looks like it's going to head over that way. That's kind of what we got. So it's all about the steering currents. But we do have a low. There it is, right there. Low pressure. Doesn't mean anything other than low pressure. Low pressure brings rains and unstable weather. That's why our rain apps are up. Actually, I love, it's funny, WeatherBug actually messaged me the other day. So I use WeatherBug, and we have 70% chance of rain today. We have 90% tomorrow. Holy cow. 80% on Wednesday. So if you're wondering why your weather apps are saying a lot of rain, that's why. So we're going to look at all the models there, Amanda. Morning, Miss Valerie. KMA, Thomas, well, look at that. Isn't it weird? The Icon's a German model. KMA is a Korean model. I don't use a Japan model. I don't even know what it's called, J something. But then we have GEM is actually CMC. That's Canadian model. Of course, the Euro, the UK. Isn't that funny? Everybody's got their own model. All right. So let's close that. Here's a cool website. I got linked, cyclonicwx.com, and it's got ASCAT data, which is really neat. This shows you the satellite snapshot of winds. It's just kind of confirming the same thing. I think I read that the hurricane hunters were going out there maybe today, so we'll keep an eye on that. They're going to go out there and look for a center. We don't have any mid-level spin, but, it's probably going to have an invest soon, I would think. Probably during our live, maybe they'll designate it. When we have an invest, then we have spaghetti models, because now the models have data that they can say, okay, here's the center. Run your little computers. Right now we don't have spaghetti models. But when we do, they're all going to do this. So that's almost a guarantee. But anyway, there's a little bit of low-level spin showing up. Let me close that out. Here is the old school vorticity maps. This is 850. Showing you decent level, low-level vorticity. 850 is lower level. You look for that when you're looking at tropical systems. So everything's confirming we got a low-level spin. There's definitely enough to give it an invest. There's a little bit of 500 millibar spin. It's very displaced, but starting to try to get its little act together there over the Gulf Stream. Wind shear, very hard to see, I'm sure, on your screen, but here's Florida right there. Pretty good drawing. Wind shear's going down a little bit, so it's got a little bit of favorable wind shear. Not, the worst. And the Gulf's not too bad as far as development for wind shear. Steering currents are odd, but this high pressure is actually going to lift up and slide this way, and those winds are going to drive our system, eventually west, blocking over here. But steering currents eventually are going to swing it through the state, more than likely. Weather today, we got dark green. That's just kind of telling you we can get some storms throughout the day, all the way to the west coast up to the Port St. Joe. Windy was great yesterday, Karen. Well, make sure you move it around because it defaults to the Euro. Blobs and spinach. What's up, Dave Waters? Give me a water. Does anybody else get insulted when they bring you water? Kim, morning from Titusville, Port Charlotte, Erica. Look at all that. Is the dude that saw me at the Tesla charging station there? Crazy story. Sunday morning. Longo. We'll show Longo D and Gus. It was Louis' morning today. Appalachians. So I was all enjoying my Sunday morning. This had nothing to do. I still enjoyed it. I'm just saying. I was chilling out at the Tesla station, charging Julie's car. Got there at 6:30. I love doing weather in the mornings when everybody's sleeping. As you know, I post a lot in the mornings. So I got the driver's seat kicked back and I'm working. This guy drives up next, pulls up, and he looks over and he backs up and he goes, "Mike?" Yeah. He recognized me. In a Tesla. In Melbourne. Wearing a non-weather shirt. That's crazy. So, but he was really, really nice. We talked a lot. He has a diesel, and he had a sticker. He said, Prius repellent. He's telling that to a guy with an electric car. But I also have a Hellcat, so anyway. All right, so we can have some storms today. They're going to be popping. I'm going to show. It's not going to be a washout today or tomorrow. It's very, very. We got sunshine right now. Sunshine brews storms. So I have a feeling we're going to see some pretty intense thunderstorms later today as the daytime heating takes over. So there you go. That's the storm map for today. Here's your flooding map. Still got. In fact, let me make sure they didn't change it because I really. Let me tell you what. Let me go down here. Oh, let's see. Flooding maps way down here. I tell you what we got to worry about too. I feel bad only talking about the south, but we do have flooding today here to worry about in red. So heavy rain, look at that, and yellow actually. And a lot of it's over Carolinas again. So God, I hate it when I have to switch to tropics. But there is a large flooding map for today. Some of that same area that was hit with Chantel. European ensembles are back showing something. Okay. But that's today. So big rain, but here's what we got today. So that hasn't changed. Let me go back to my graphic here. So there's that. Let's close that. There we go. So as far as the tropical system goes, we have a large part of the Florida Peninsula under slight flooding. Now this means one thing. Not everybody is going to get that rain. It just means that we're going to have a lot of rain falling fast, which could lead to flooding. Excessive rainfall maps basically is your flash flood guidance, meaning we could have heavy rain. So tomorrow it remains. So we got Monday in the top, Tuesday in the bottom. Then we have, Wednesday's still there, but the big developing is what happens later week. And we have Thursday now showing Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama there. This thing turns up that way. We're starting to see some heavy rain. And I read some of the National Weather Service discussion in New Orleans area, worried about a lot of rain. And that could be the big story there as this thing finally gets through Florida. So it's going to be a lot of days watching this thing. On that. All right. Rainfall today is very tricky. I posted the HRR earlier. This is through tonight on the Euro. I probably should have went out a little bit farther. This only goes to this evening. But it kind of gives you the idea. Anybody in the peninsula can get rain. It's just who gets what. Who knows. Yellow is 1 inch. So there's that. P-watt values. I wanted to show this. P-watt's the amount of moisture in the air. And anytime you get 1.5 inches to 2 inches, means rainfall. So we got 2 inches in that hatched area, pretty much the same area. So you got 2 inch P-watt values. That's just heavy moisture in the air all the way down to the Keys. So as the day goes on, we're going to see rain. Here's the HRR I talked about. This is through tonight. You can just see the HRR is not showing. Not everybody's going to get everything, but we got some pockets of 11 inches somewhere. That could be more over the water, but so there you go. That's it. Tropical system's going to be pulling down. We got a lot of moisture. We got a lot of rotation. Rain is on the radar today and tomorrow. Nothing to stress about. We get rain in the summer. Now here's the longer range forecast through Saturday. This is your official NOAA map. And look, we do have some areas that are interesting. 4 inches in Tampa by me. So I just don't think anybody really knows what we're going to get. That's why sometimes watching real time is your friend. But some of these white areas are 6, 7, 8 inches. That's why we could have some isolated flooding the next couple of days as this thing slides over. So that's a lot of rain expected through Friday. This is through Friday, 5 days, and then we're gonna, some of the values in New Orleans area was 6, 7 inches. So it's gonna fluctuate for sure. Here's your official forecast showing you that blob here, blob there. We got a lot of rain through the weekend. So there you go. Rain. But we got sunshine right now in Oldsmar. So we're talking a lot. I don't know what this little anomaly here is. This is tropical tidbits. It's definitely a satellite glitch, I would think. Maybe it's not. Maybe there is something going on down there. I don't know. Because we have a blue one over here. I don't know. But everybody keeps talking about the Gulf being warmer. It is a little bit warmer than normal. I know it's cold. It feels cold to some. But based on a 30-year average, 81 to 2010, the water sea surface temperatures are a little bit above normal. So anything that slides over here is going to have a little bit more fuel to build thunderstorms and rain. So that's extra juice. You can see Western Gulf cooled down a lot with Barry and Andrea. We had a little bit of cool down here from Chantel, but we got some heat energy that this thing can fuel off of. So that's why the rainfall's tricky. I think I posted several times that I believe the rainfall maps were underdone a couple of days ago, and now they're starting to increase a little bit more. So that's that. Let's look at some tracks. So I posted this morning. This was interesting. So the Euro, crazy. Not even showing one ensemble, which there's 51 runs of the Euro. Not showing one. So, good news. Now, the Euro AI I've been tracking a lot this season. They have a new ensemble suite, and it's been consistently showing more development. So, it's really curious, the Euro AI versus its own Euro. So, not 100%. That's why we're at 30% right now. But interesting to note the Euro's not showing one. And then I was even more surprised to pull up the GFS ensembles just before we went live. Talk about a 180 flip from yesterday. Nothing. Now, all you people analyzing my emotions right now, before you type, oh my God, are you sad? It seems like you want a storm. Come on, where are they? I know there's out there. Bobby Blobby. Don't waste your typing. But anyway, so that's tricky. I tell you what, so if the Euro, and if we don't get Dexter, that's the next name on the list. Oh man, my Sharpie's rolling because I don't have the little tag thing anymore. It broke off, so now it's just rolling off my desk. If we don't get Dexter, then cheers to GFS and Euro for being correct. It did, Robin. It did. The flying bat, Gus. Oh my God. Yeah, that was Emily's moment. There you go, David. Oh my God, am I sad? Thank you. I didn't want to be let down. Neutral state, Jamie, just kind of means we're in that transitional period. We're going back to La Nina again. That's kind of where we were last year. Neutral La Nina. We weren't in La Nina last year. It seems like, man, I bit my tongue or something. La Nina years and neutral years produce a little more storms. So, neutral years leaning into La Nina winter, which I had the latest outlook here. I think it got posted late last week. There's the latest one. We're going to be borderline La Nina September, October, November. This is what these three letters down here mean, September, October, November. But we're going to be going into La Nina for the winter. And that usually means a little bit more active winter, across the south, a little more storms. Jet stream placements, the reason. Jet stream dips a little bit more in the La Nina years. Ooh. So maybe we'll have snow in Florida again. That's the jet stream, by the way. But there's that. So, this is kind of where we were last year, believe it or not, with the neutral La Nina setup for September, October, November. So that's why the hurricane season's still not really here yet. August 20th is the unofficial bell that they rang for the true start of the season, and we're only in the middle of July right now. So that's what we got there. So there we go. Let's close that out. But anyway, GFS went 180, not showing anything. But officially we're at 30%. So good morning, Miss Stephanie Stokes. Met one of your friends, if you met him. Pablo, yeah, GFS and Euro has not been very good this year. So, all right, so let's look at all the individuals. So I'm going to post this. A lot of people ask me about the Google AI. This is your blue lines are Google AI. Orange is Euro ensembles. Wonder why. Well, these are low pressure centers, by the way. That other map is tropical cyclone development, not low pressure. These are low pressure centers, but this is kind of cool. This kind of shows you the blue lines Google saying, this is where we think it might go. There's little blue guys, they're just sliding around. Only 4 little members, but that's a basic track. You click on Euro low pressure centers. Here's what the Euro is thinking. Orange is Euro. And there it is about right now. It pretty much has it sliding through the state. All the little low pressure centers. It's like pinball wizard. He's a pinball wizard. And then there you go. These are low pressure centers. So tropical systems need time to develop, and they need days to lower pressures. So you watch for lowering pressures more than anything in the initial stages. And once a system gets low pressure, then it can intensify quick. As long as the system is still 1010, 1012 pressure, it takes time. It won't just turn into a hurricane overnight. So once you start to see lowering pressures and thunderstorms around the center and some sort of a tight closed low, then you start to say, oh boy, we might have something that's brewing. So right now, like I said, it's just kind of sitting out there. Pressures are kind of high, and it's kind of sloppy looking. But it's there, and we're going to keep a close eye on it. And like I said, the only hint of this thing trying to develop is the low-level spin right now, which we have a clear little spin here off of Cape Canaveral right there. This is your lower-level winds spinning. And 1,000 millibar, very broad, low pressure. Not tight, but 850. So it's a true low pressure. 700 millibar starting to show a little bit of stacking. Stacking is what we talk about. We got our adult toys over here. We're going to show you here in a little bit. But there's your 850. There's your 700. 500 wind shear showing up, but we are starting to see a little bit of signs of maybe that wind shear starting to relax a little bit. And see these winds right here? Right, that if you go and look at the convection here, let's go look at goes east and take a look here, and you can really see the wind shear effects at the higher levels. So watch the wind. See the convection kind of over Florida right now. These are these high level winds kind of pushing everything this direction. So that's the 500 millibar winds, a little bit of wind shear. We get a lot of little popping, a lot of little thunderstorms down there. So it's very interesting. We get lightning. We go to Weather Nerds if you want. Weather Nerds is really good for this kind of stuff too. And anytime you get lightning consistently, then it's trying to lower pressures and develop. So there's some modeling yesterday that suggested that it might even develop over that Gulf Stream. The NHC did not put the circle over the Gulf Stream. I thought they might, but they didn't. But they did go to, that's Louis. people forget about that Gulf Stream being sneaky fuel source of warm water, and it could feed into that. So that's what I said. Right, Bobby. There's a lot of storms that we watch in real time. This is one of them. What? Oh, Karen, that's the little orbs. Lisa, you got rain coming. Just the isolated flooding is tough, you know. Morning, Chris Hargish. So those little orbs was the Google AI. That's right here. New this year, Google AI, right there. Boom. Google AI was all over the news. That's the wrong link right here. Google AI was all over the news. Hey, we got some wind out there. You can click on it, and you can click on the Euro ensembles and the Euro high-res ensembles. And that runs in time, basically, where the low-pressure center is. Until we get an invest. Now, when we get an invest, it'll actually run its projections on strength, track, cone. But right now, we don't have an invest, so it's just guessing on low-pressure centers. Hey, Jay, what's up? Morning, man. Low pressure, good fishing. Captain, you're so right. My buddy Dylan Hubbard taught me that. Okay, I just got it between you and I, so I won't say it, Austin, I promise, but I got to read it anyways. Okay, buddy. Gotcha. We have dust, Keem, yes, but not enough to really affect anything. It's kind of in a little lull right now. Actually, let's take a look at the dust map, see where we're at. We had a big plume last week, and it's kind of, I thought we had one incoming, but this one's kind of in the middle here of not being around. Let's take a look. I'm getting my phone. I should probably turn it off. All right, so let's take a look at dust here. Dust. And you can see the dust is, today's the 15th. So there you go. So all that dust is going to slide by on the 16th. And we got a little pocket here on Wednesday of very little dust. So that's what happens. We get these breaks. So like you get a big plume, then we have a break, and then I'm not playing tic-tac-toe, but well, we could if you want. Let's see. All right, so X. Let's do that. Okay, there. And then there. And then there. And then there. No one wins. It's like war games. So anyway, we're in a little hole. But that's what happens towards the end of July and into August. We start to get bigger breaks, and this is where you start to watch for tropical development. And I don't know if we got anything wave-wise out there or not. I haven't really looked. I haven't seen anything on the maps. But there's a little wave down here, but it's running pretty low. There's a little guy right here, actually interesting. Near the islands, a little wave. I wonder if that's a marked wave or not. Let's take a look. Look at the surface charts. Sometimes the surface charts will show you that. Let's see. Yeah, it is a little wave. So let's see a little wave right here, tropical wave, near the islands. So this little guy right here, yeah, not a lot of thunderstorms with it, but yeah, never know. Maybe something to watch down the road. You know, it's in a break of dust right now, but that's what you look at. So we're not gonna worry about that right now. Blah, 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 blah. All right, rainfall. We talked about that. Let's look at individual models now. Since we just showed you the Google, let's look at all the models. Let's look at let's go to Weather Nerds because they have the ensemble runs pretty nice. Let's take a look here. European, let's zoom in a little bit. This is Weather Nerds. These are low pressure centers. And it's pulling to the north a little bit now. It does. There's a couple over here. So pretty much nothing. So that's good. Let's hope. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, maybe we won't get nothing. But anyway, there's the latest. But none of these are really developing. So let's look at the 00Z hour. Here's 6Z. Did we do 6Z yet? Is that 6Z? Yeah, here's 6Z. A little more through the state. Let's see, what the hell's going on with the euro? I mean, now that 6Z is 180 opposite than it was at the 00Z. I mean, bad euro. Euro used to not be such a knee-jerk change in model runs. But anyway, that makes more sense. But none of these are really showing up as developed. But that's the basic flow. Flow. Let's go to Tropical Tidbits and take a look here at the models. The icon has been the outlier. Here's basically the GFS. This is Wednesday. Not showing much, just rainfall up there towards the upper Gulf on Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, crap. Tomorrow. Hey, Julie, we put 11 o'clock tomorrow, phone call. 11 a.m. Icon's a pretty good model there, Corey. Let's, just because it seems like it always has a way of seeing low pressure early. Hasn't had a great year so far, but last couple of years it's been really good. Here's the GFS, not really showing any development, just rains. Remember, we're going to have a high pressure flow kind of pushing things around that direction. So, you know, just heavy rain on tap. Here's overnight 00Z for Wednesday, the big old blob there, upper Gulf. Icon, let's take a look at the icon. So the icon is showing a little bit more development over that Gulf Stream today. 1013 is not developed, but it is low pressure, which we have already. This is today. Icon swings it through the state tomorrow. And, you know, here's Wednesday morning. Starts to develop it. And, you know, it's the outlier. Very believable, though. So that's definitely the one to, you know, keep on the back of your mind. 988 could be a hurricane, pressure-wise. And it's been really consistent on that idea. Last 4 runs. So seeing something that nobody else is seeing. A little more common sense, so I think. If that thing's got a seed and it's got low pressure, you know, this is what happens. I mean, the Gulf is warmer than normal. And there you go. I mean, this is yesterday, showing a little stronger system into Texas. But that's, you know, this is worst case scenario. But definitely one to keep on the back of your mind. But the NHC is at 30% right now. So anytime you get any low pressure in the Gulf, you know, we got to keep an eye on it. Canadian model, let's take a look at the latest. There's a blob here on Wednesday. It develops a little bit. You know, it's not organized, 1009, but it gives you that same idea through the end of the week. Heavy rain. This is Thursday and Friday. Right there, see it? When we get an Invest too, we'll start to get the H-Wharf, H-Mon, and Haas models running, which is great because they give you a little bit more realistic idea on intensity. So, the boo. He likes to draw pictures. So there's that. All right. So there's, you know, that's what we're watching things real time. Timing, like I said, if it were to develop, we would be looking at the end of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is Thursday here. The icon. This is Thursday. Euro AI. It's been slowly shown a little bit more. This is Thursday. You know, it's not really organized, but it is showing a little bit of signs that maybe it's trying to organize a little bit more. Here's a vorticity map. So even the Euro AI is showing a little bit of flow across Florida. Here's what it's showing tomorrow morning by the Cape. Swings it through Florida and kind of skirts across and then pulls up. This is Thursday morning. The Euro itself ain't showing, well, she's showing a weak low. It's interesting to see that the Euro is showing it pull to the north and then kind of back down and around. But again, not a lot of development, just a low pressure. Really don't have any other models here I want to look at. So there's that. Let's take a look at the UK. We haven't looked at that in a while. UK? Let's see, model animator. Hey, we're already at 10 o'clock, man. It's funny when there's a system, time flies. UK? You okay? UK? Here's a KMA. Let's take a look at that. Oh, let's take a look at winds, I guess. Not really showing much. Weak low up into Wednesday there. Not really showing any development on the KMA. Okay. Where's the UK? I don't know where's that. UK? There we go. Let's take a look at the UK. A little bit of low right here in the Louisiana there, Mississippi. This is Friday. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're just kind of seeing what it does. Little low pressure gets squeezed off towards the upper Gulf here later in the week. So the rain maps, let's take a look at those real quick and then we'll call it a day. I got to do one of my little videos here in a second. But let's take a look at southeast rainfall totals on all the big models. Let's take a look at that. Eventually, one of these is going to be right. This is through the weekend. Euro not showing too much. Nothing over 5 inches. Very unenthusiastic on rainfall. So you get that sometimes in an afternoon thunderstorm. That's what I'm saying. The rainfall is all over the place. GFS, a little more pockets here and there. This is through the weekend. It's a little more realistic with some of these isolated, you don't know where they're going to be, but, South Florida, man, we could have 7, 8, 9 inches down here. We got 6, 7, 8, 9 inches here by me. We got a couple pockets here north. So that's a little more realistic on the extremes. Thought I heard thunder. The icon rainfall, obviously if it gets developed, it'll be a lot of rain in Louisiana. That's what Louisiana National Weather Service is worried about, is the amount of rain they're going to get here possibly. Obviously if we get a developing system, then we're going to have a lot of rainfall to worry about. So that's the extreme. Let's see what else we got here. Model blend. National Weather Service official totals don't really go out that far yet. NAM isolated, showing you that rain. Canadian, we can take a look at that. We can take a look at Canadian has some weird options, but we don't really have the South. It's showing a little more rain in Louisiana and Mississippi because it's developing it a little bit more. I do hear thunder. It is thundering. Here's the rainfall accumulation on the Canadian. And obviously it's more because it's thinking a little more development. But that could be, big problems. Lower Louisiana, if this thing does do that. So, a lot of unknowns. Here's the icon really showing some heavy rain. Yellow is 10 inches. So I just don't think anybody really knows what we're going to get. I think there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. We have a developing low pressure. It's going to slide across the state. I think we need to keep a close eye on it in the Gulf, obviously. Wind shear isn't that bad as far development goes. But, we got to trust the Euro. We got to trust models that have been good. And right now, they're not showing much. But we always look at those outliers. And sometimes the Euro is wrong. So, Chris Fisher, good morning. Gretchen. Yep, David Ridgeway, appreciate that. Yep, no H-Wharf yet. Really hoping we get the invest soon. I'm sure we're going to get it any minute now. Carrie, you got your weather joke from Alexa? So that's all I got. Bottom line, no stress. Watch that rain. Flooding rain could really accumulate. My windows are wet. That means it's very moist out there. I highly recommend WeatherWise app. It's free. And you can't go wrong with radar scope either. But look at all this juice. There's a lot out there. That just popped up out of nowhere. That's what I mean. I think the rain maps are all wrong, honestly. I don't think there's no common sense right now, but that's reality right there. We got a lot of juice out there. And it's going to get that way throughout the day. That's why we have that flood potential. Let's see what the latest HR looks like. Thunder. Thunder, thunder, thunder. Okay. There's a kind of... See it? A little spinach. A lot of people were bashing people sharing the HRR yesterday, but you know what? It does very well on these undeveloped systems. So this could be later today. There's a big old line setting up later this afternoon, later this evening. So we have multiple rounds, possibly. It's later today, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock somewhere. Here's a core center overnight. This is 3 in the morning. This is through tomorrow. And then Wednesday morning. So if we didn't have clear spinach out there, I would be very hesitant on a lot of things, but we do have spinach out there, so it's definitely worth watching close in real time. Steering currents, I wanted to show that too, the upper level steering currents. There's that high pressure in the Gulf. Yeah, it's weird that the Euro is pulling it to the north and the upper level steering currents are showing this, which would prevent any sort of northbound movement on that low pressure area. So there you go. Anyway, WeatherWise, yep, good app. WeatherWise, how's it going, Brew Crew? We'll go over there and talk to you here in a second. Windy's a good app too, yep. But as far as radar goes, WeatherWise is good. It has a composite now that you can see a lot of folk, the whole U.S. if you want. And you got a million parameters you can change on the WeatherWise for looks, which I love. You can turn off labels. You can make borders. You can make county borders, state borders. You can turn them off, turn them on. Change color, change alerts. Pick only your region. Nobody should be worried, Kate. Nobody's worried. Nobody's worried. Radar Omega's good. Yeah, Florida Girl, I never really messed with it. But, you know what? Yeah, Vet Leo, you dread this time of year. Lightning strike. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning. A lot of lightning. This is lightning time. I mean, no highlights, James, other than her throwing her bat. Brian Maxwell, I kind of wonder the same thing. The northern track is odd. But we have a clear center. That's the thing. We got a center now, so. And we have somewhat convection around that center. And lightning. So it's trying to develop. So there you go. Cool, man. All right. Well, there's a lot of windows I got to open up here. Let's just leave it on this one. I go to Biloxi, stay inside all day. Well, got a lot of lightning, Sheila, in Melbourne. Yes, I was there. So we just got to watch this thing in real time, everybody. You know, it's 30%. Tropics are busy this time of year. We got, you know, things happen quick, so you never turn your back on the tropics. You know, we got sneaky storms across a big part of Florida today, and the dark green marginal risk. That means any of these thunderstorms can be strong. And the flow, obviously, you can see here is from the north to the south like it was yesterday. Could be some isolated flooding in these storms. You know, and that happens. So we just don't know until, you know, we just got to watch things in real time. You know, I think if we get any chance of any significant development, it's obviously going to be the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday over the water. So got my curiosity pegged a little bit on that upper Gulf possibility if this thing decides to go that direction. But, you know, the Bermuda High, you know, pushing things this way. We got, you know, high here pushing things this way, and I guess it all depends on which is stronger. Maybe the Euro's thinking that this high is stronger and it's going to shove it that direction. But if that thing goes that way, then there's only one way for it to go. And let's take a look at 500. And eventually it just blocks. Everything's going to have to go that direction. High pressure to the north pretty much guarantees this thing has one way to go, and that's across the state into the Gulf. Anyway, all right. Well, hope any of that a little bit made sense. Just pay attention to the trends and the rain today and tomorrow. Like I said, we got a you know, possibility of flooding rains from WPC, especially north of us today. Not talk about that, but this is, you know, anybody in this area today could see some high rainfall. Not red, but it's yellow, and tomorrow's the same. Here's Tuesday, so there's Monday and Tuesday, more of the same. And then a little break on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, this is where the concern starts to turn, would be the rainfall Thursday, Friday here. There's Friday. So Thursday and Friday, we could see some significant rain in that upper Gulf. And that's been the storyline this year, has been floods. And like I said, National Weather Service in New Orleans is already talking about it. And if you're curious, you can always go to this little box right here, type up New Orleans, we can go down to discussion and read what they're talking about. And PWAT still around 2 inches. Oh, here's long term. Extended, this is New Orleans. Extended portion of the forecast is definitely where many people's eyes are turning to. Low chance. Models are all over the place. Surface low is going to be moving to the Gulf Coast Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it could park. Here it goes. It says slow moving system that can hang up and not move very fast could be coming together for a concerning flood scenario. So there you go. Adjectives. Concerning flood scenario. Rainfall could be woefully underdone. Very significant rainfall could be occurring if that stalls out. So this is New Orleans upper Gulf area. So definitely want to keep your eye on this thing. Slow moving systems dump a lot of rain. So that's it. All right. So we're just going to watch this thing happen on front of us. Hurricane hunters were supposed to go out today. We'll keep an eye on that. There is some sort of spin out there. We should have an invest soon. If we get an invest, I'll update the website with spaghetti models and update the app with our spaghetti models, and we'll start to get higher resolution model runs, giving us an idea what might happen. So there you go. I'll be live tomorrow. I'm going to pop on over to MWP chat right now and say hello to those folks in a little bit. You can always sign up to be part of our fan club here, the Brew crew, if you want to do more. We have some cool perks. Be the cool kids.